When I first moved to Waverly Lane, I thought I'd finally made it. After years of renting shoebox apartments, I was holding the keys to my own house, a pale blue 2-story home with a maple tree in the front yard and a mailbox shaped like a tiny birdhouse. It was a quiet neighborhood, the kind where people waved from driveways, kids rode bikes till sunset, and you could hear sprinklers at night. It was safe, it was normal. Or at least, that's what I thought. The house next door, number 14, was empty when I arrived. The real estate agent told me the owners had moved suddenly a few months back. She brushed it off when I asked more. Still, I noticed the small things. The mailbox was full, the blinds were half torn, and a faint handprint lingered on the upstairs window. I told myself it was probably nothing, just an abandoned property. But on my second night, I heard something, a soft, rhythmic knocking. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more. It wasn't coming from my door. It came from their house, next door. I remember standing by my living room window, staring at the dark house across the hedge. Every light was off, but the knocking continued, steady, deliberate. I almost called the cops, but I stopped myself. It was a new neighborhood. The last thing I wanted was to be that guy, the paranoid newcomer. So instead, I went back to bed. At 3:17 a.m., I woke up again, not from the sound, but from the feeling that someone was standing just outside my window. You know that strange awareness you get when someone's eyes are on you, that heavy silence pressing against your skin. I froze. My blinds were closed, but I could see the faintest shadow shift on the other side of the fabric. Tall, still, watching. And then, right before I could reach for my phone, it moved away. The next morning I checked outside. Nothing. Just footprints in the dew. They led from the fence toward the house next door. A few nights later, I saw it again. From my upstairs office, I noticed a faint light flickering in the second-floor window of the empty house. It looked like candlelight, warm, unsteady, moving. The weirdest part was, I thought I saw someone behind it, a silhouette, facing my direction. I stood there, staring too long, until I realized the candle wasn't inside their window anymore. It looked like it was reflected, inside mine. I turned around so fast I nearly tripped. The room was empty, but when I looked back at the glass, the candle was gone. That night, I started sleeping downstairs with the TV on. The next morning, a man knocked on my door. He was middle-aged, pale, wearing a wrinkled polo shirt and sunglasses even though it was overcast. He said he used to live in the house next door. I asked why he left so suddenly. His face twitched. "You'll see," he said quietly. Then he glanced past me, into my hallway, and frowned. "Don't leave the upstairs window open at night." Before I could ask what he meant, he was already walking away. That night, I made sure every window was locked, every door bolted. But around midnight, I woke up to the sound of something upstairs, creaking floorboards, soft, deliberate steps. I wasn't alone in my house anymore. The first time I actually saw her, I thought it was a trick of the light. It was about 2 weeks after that strange visit from the former neighbor. I was in the kitchen, standing by the sink, rinsing a coffee mug when I caught something in the window's reflection, a figure behind me. She was standing in the hallway. A woman, pale, hair hanging in front of her face, wearing what looked like an old nightgown, her head tilted slightly, like she was curious about me. I spun around, but the hallway was empty. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the faint sound of water dripping from the tap. I stood there for a full minute, trying to convince myself I was tired, overworked, imagining things. But then I noticed it again. The reflection in the window still showed her. Only now, she was closer. The mug slipped from my hand and shattered in the sink. When I turned back to look again, the reflection was empty. Just me, trembling, breath fogging up the glass. That night, the knocking started again, louder this time. And it wasn't from the house next door anymore. It was coming from inside my walls. It's hard to explain how a house can feel different. At first, it was subtle. A door that didn't quite line up like before, a shadow that stretched too long. But then the air itself started to feel heavy, like the house was breathing with me. I'd hear faint humming from the upstairs bathroom, even though the lights were off. Sometimes I'd smell something burning, like candle wax or old perfume, and find black residue on my hands, as if I'd been holding a candle without realizing it. One night, I woke up on the living room floor with my hands covered in soot. I didn't remember falling asleep there. When I looked toward the staircase, I saw a soft orange glow pulsing from the top, the same light I'd seen in the neighbor's window. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step groaned like it was warning me to stop. When I reached the hallway, I realized the glow wasn't coming from any lamp or candle. It was coming from the open doorway of my bedroom. And inside, the woman was standing beside my bed, whispering something I couldn't understand. After that night, I stopped sleeping upstairs. I bought a small couch and started staying in the living room with the TV on for noise. It didn't help. Every night, around 3 a.m., the TV would flicker and switch channels on its own. Sometimes, the static would form words, short bursts that almost sounded like someone trying to talk. The first clear message came on the third night. "Let me in." I tried recording it on my phone, but the video showed nothing except a white blur and my own voice whispering back, even though I hadn't said a word. When I looked at the reflection in the dark screen, she was standing behind me again. I called the man who used to live next door. His number was still saved from the day he visited. He answered immediately, like he'd been expecting me. "You've seen her, haven't you?" he said. I didn't even need to answer. He told me the house across the hedge was never really empty. His wife had died there years ago, fell down the stairs under unclear circumstances. After the funeral, he swore he could still hear her walking around, knocking, watching. When he finally moved out, he thought it was over. But he said something that chilled me completely. She doesn't stay where she died. She moves to where she's remembered. He hung up before I could ask what that meant. And that night, I dreamed of a staircase, a broken neck, and a woman whispering my name through bloodless lips. It's strange how quickly you can stop feeling safe inside your own home. By the third week, the house didn't sound like my house anymore. The creaks were slower, heavier, like something moving underneath the floorboards. I stopped inviting anyone over. I stopped going upstairs, and I stopped checking mirrors. Because every time I did, I saw her. Not always fully, sometimes just her hair, or her hands pressed against the glass, or a shape standing behind me that didn't move when I did. At first, I'd blink and she'd vanish, but lately, she stayed. Long enough for me to see her eyes. They were gray, cloudy, lifeless, but they looked furious. I started talking out loud just to fill the silence. I'd say things like, "You don't belong here. This is my house now." But the air would shift every time I said it, like the house itself was disagreeing. One night, I woke up to the sound of running water. I followed it to the upstairs bathroom, the one I hadn't used in weeks. The light inside was flickering. The tub was full, overflowing with dark water. Something floated in it. Hair, then a face. Her face. She opened her eyes under the water and smiled. I don't remember screaming. I don't remember running. but I do remember waking up downstairs again, soaked, with black fingerprints all over my arms and neck. I called a priest the next morning. He didn't even come inside, just stood in the doorway, eyes wide, muttering a prayer I didn't recognize. When he finished, he told me something that made no sense at first. She doesn't haunt places, she attaches to the ones who watch her. He left without another word. That night, I covered every mirror, turned off every light, and tried not to look at anything reflective. But there's something about darkness that makes you want to look, just to make sure nothing's there. Around 2:30 a.m., I felt a weight press onto my chest. It was cold, heavy, like someone kneeling on me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. Her voice whispered in my ear, "You looked too long." And then I felt her inside my head, like she'd been waiting for me to open a door. When I woke, the house was silent. The sun was rising, but in the reflection of the microwave door, I saw her again. Not behind me this time. Instead, she was moving when I move. She smiled, and I smiled too. I haven't left the house in days, maybe weeks. The neighbors don't wave anymore. Sometimes I catch them staring from across the street, whispering to each other. They think I'm the one who screams at night. But it isn't me, it's her. She hums now, that same broken lullaby I heard through the walls. She hums when I sleep, when I eat, when I stand in front of the mirror. I can't tell where she ends and I begin. My reflection doesn't blink anymore, unless she wants it to. If anyone ever moves in after me, I want them to know, don't look out the upstairs window at night. Don't answer the knocking. And whatever you do, don't look too long, because once you do, she moves in.